Today's fairy tale comes from Jewish folklore. It was recorded in Turkey, and it is called The Peasant Who Learned to Like Coffee. It starts out kind of like an episode of Undercover Boss. A sultan decides he wants to see how the common people live, so he and his vizier get in disguise and they go amongst the common people, and they get thirsty and they knock on this one peasant's door, and the peasant invites them in to have a drink, and he squeezes them pomegranate juice. This one pomegranate so amazing that its juice is enough to fill a whole cup to the brim. The king drinks it and he's like, oh my gosh. In his heart he's like, I am a king and I do not have drinks this good. Months pass and then the sultan wants to go out and do it again. He goes to the same place to get the same pomegranate juice, but it's not the same. He only barely fills the cup with one pomegranate and it's not as good. The disguised sultan is like, what's wrong with your pomegranates? And the guy's like, they aren't as good as they once were because I'm poor now because of the sultan. Curse the sultan because of how high his taxes are. So the sultan puts an address on a piece of paper, gives it to the peasant and says, if you ever want to come to the city for work, I'll find you a job. So later the peasant does need to go to the city for work and he goes to the address. Surprise, surprise, it's the sultan's palace. And the sultan's like, I've been the sultan the whole time. I want to hire you to be my gardener. Peasant's like, great, love to start working with you. And the sultan says, first let's have some coffee. But the peasant's never had coffee before and it burns his lips. Peasant works for a year as a gardener. He learns how to read and write. He gets promoted to being in charge of the taxes at the harbor. So he's working at the harbor, and whenever a ship comes in with coffee, he won't let them enter. Soon everyone's running out of coffee and they can't get coffee in, so they go to the sultan about it. So the sultan goes to the guy and he's like, what's up? And he's like, coffee's awful. I drank it and burned my lips. I hated it. So the sultan's like, let me have you try it again. And so he brings in coffee, the most beloved drink of the Turks, and he says, don't drink it all at once, sip it slowly. Slowly, the peasant drank the coffee and enjoyed its fragrant taste. At last, he understood that coffee was the most delicious drink. Since that time, he has always been happy when a shipment of coffee arrived in the harbor. I feel like that conversation and slow coffee advice could have happened sooner. It's kind of all over the place with the whole pomegranate thing and the overtaxing of the sultan, which I don't think he ever actually fixed, by the way. He just gave this guy a better job. But the peasant knows how to appreciate coffee now, and as a millennial who stereotypically loves my coffee, I'm down with that ending. As always, check out my book and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.